I am really excited to talk about what I'm about to talk about because I just remembered what this term was. And I have spent years trying to remember what this term is that I'm gonna explain to you. I know the concept, but I'm about to explain the term to you. So, um, one of the biggest concerns that people in business come across when they're running their business is, am I worth what I'm charging? That's one of the biggest things that they think about. And I know in my experience, I've thought about that a lot too. Am I worth what I'm charging people? And then, in order to beat out the competition, if you've got a lot of competition in your market, real estate, you could run a small mom and pop shop. Am I worth what I'm charging? And then in order to beat out the competition, you start charging less, or you try to figure out the best way to make a deal, right? And that's not a very good way to run a business. So when I was in middle school, I took an economics class, I think it was. Um, and I learned about a concept. This is the concept that I figured out, that I put a name to finally, called commodity pricing. Now, everyone knows what a commodity is for the most part. It's a product that has very similar products in its nature, right? But in economics, commodity pricing is determined by the supply and demand curves in a market. So if you need a quick reminder on supply and demand, supply goes up when demand goes down. But when supply goes down, demand goes up. So it's like opposites, right? And you don't really need to know that, but it's helpful, and that's how I've always thought about it. So when prices for commodities, so products of similar nature, are determined by the market, like these prices are determined by the market, the individual companies that are selling out these commodities, they have no choice but to sell at the same price as the rest of their competition, because they're all selling technically the same thing. So you must sell at market price. With no jargon, if you're essentially selling the same products or services as your competition, you'll have to charge the same prices as your competition. So, if you sell that, you got to charge that. And it's the market telling you what to do. And in business, this is a big no-no if you really, really want to grow your business strong, because you don't have control over your pricing, and you need control over your pricing. So you have to be different is a huge part of this. You have to get out of being a commodity. You have to be different. You have to be special. If you want to charge your own prices, you have to be special and different than everyone else, and not just be different, not just say different things, right? If you've got a mom and pop shop, you don't just put a new sign on the window saying something different, saying that you're different, but you have to be different, right? There's a lot of different businesses out there that have done this really well. For example, if you look at all the, I don't know what you'd call them, but the big style brands such as like Supreme, or what's that one? I'm trying to remember. Anyways, Supreme, for example, is like they sell apparel, but how they got started is they just started selling shirts. I think they just started selling shirts with the word Supreme on it, and they just charged insane prices for it, and then it became trendy, and now they sell, I don't know what it is, like $150 at a t-shirt, and now they sell like bags, and if you have Supreme, you're cool, right? And they're different. They're not just your average t-shirt brand. It's the t-shirt brand, right? Another example of a great business that does this is Apple. You can be an Apple or Microsoft fan. You have to have respect for Apple and Steve Jobs when he was alive, but his slogan was "Think Different." It completely changed the world of technology, so everyone was trying to figure out how to make the next CD or the next Walkman, right? And he invented the iPod, which goes in your pocket, right? And all your music is in your pocket. It's on you. And then instead of recreating the flip phone, he made the iPhone, which is completely different than the flip phone. It's a completely different way of thinking about it. And so he didn't really come up with these ideas. I'm pretty sure people, like there was the Palm, for example. That I think that was before the iPhone, but that was something similar to the iPhone, but it didn't quite nail it. And the reason in our heads that it didn't quite nail it is because Steve Jobs thought different, and he marketed himself as different and Apple as different, as the way to be. And that's what really caught traction. So it's not necessarily that you have to sell this new product that's unlike anything else in its nature. You don't have to go and be an inventor and go make the new iPhone or go reinvent the wheel in whatever industry you're in, but you have to be different and be a specialty. And what makes you a specialty, that's what you have to decide. What makes you totally different than the guy next door? Because if you can figure out what makes you different, then you will and you make sure your target market sees what makes you different, then you've got a specialty and not a commodity anymore. And you're out of that. And now guess what you get to do? You get to charge your own prices because you don't have to abide by the market and you don't have to attract people who are just price shopping, because that's what people do when they're shopping around between different commodities. It's just, oh, this doesn't have the better price, this does, and so they go accept the thing with the better price. But if you're different, then they see the value in you being different, and they'll say, oh, I don't want those other things, and I'm willing to pay more because you have something different for me. Does that make sense? So I hope you got something out of this. Remember, figure out how to be different and get out of being a commodity and going by the commodity pricing, because you don't have control over that, and you want control over it. So I'll catch you in the next one. Talk to you later. Bye.